All right, so today at this station, we're going to work on writing and graphing linear relationships. So that means we're taking the situation and putting it in an equation or putting it on a graph. So I want to start by making an equation out of a situation. So here it says a car is purchased for $23,000 and depreciates at $3,000 per year. So they want us to make a table. First, let's talk about the situation. So you purchase a car for $23,000, right? So that's my starting point. The car is $23,000. And then what happens? It depreciates $3,000 per year. So per is a keyword that means what? Per doesn't mean add, subtract, multiply, or divide. If it's 3,000 per year, so 1 year it's 3,000, 2 years, well, it's 3,000 and 3,000. So per means to multiply, and it depreciates. So that's a keyword we need to make sure we know how it does, what it is. So depreciate. So we know D is like increase versus decrease, right? Decrease goes down. So if we use that context clue, depreciates means that the value is dropping. So it's like you buy a car brand new, you drive it off the lot, it's not worth as much, right? So each year it's worth less and less. That's depreciating. It's going down in value. So it depreciates. So are we adding the value to it or we're taking it away? That's right, we're taking it away, and it's $3,000 per year. So per we said is multiply, so times x. So I'm just going to put x. So now that we have our scenario written and we're writing it in order of when it happens in our problem, we're going to add y equals. But just to practice, we want to go ahead and make sure that we're putting it in to the form of y equals mx plus b. That's how we represent a linear relationship. So to do that, my x, my variable, and what's with it, the coefficient, should be first. So I'm going to keep my y equals, and I want to put the 3,000x first. Now, is this minus or this negative with the 3,000? Well, yes, right? Because it's going down 3,000 per month, the 3,000x. And then my b is my 23,000. It's my starting point, right? So the value of the car started up here at 23,000. So plus 23,000 is my equation. So in the graph, what they want us to do is they want us to make our table in our graph. So we know our starting point is 23,000. So our starting point, that's my y-intercept, right? So that means x is 0, y is 23,000. Well, if it goes down, right, it's decreasing $3,000 a year. So after 1 year, I can subtract 3,000. So that's 20,000, right? So 1 year, we're down to 20,000. Okay, let's go over to 3 years. 3 years, how much would it be for 3 years? Well, what I can do is plug in my x value to find out how much it is for 3 years. So y equals 3,000, negative 3,000 times x, or 3, plus 23,000. So negative 3,000 times 3. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. And a negative times a positive is negative. So negative 9,000 plus 23,000. So different signs. So I'm going to subtract. So let me subtract 9,000. So borrow 13 is 4. So 14,000. So 3 is at 14,000. So I could continue to find my points, and then I would connect them all. So, but we went ahead and we wrote our equation from the problem, and then we rewrote it in y equals mx plus b form. So if you look at number 9, it says which equation best represents the value v of the car at the end of t years. So what it wants us to do is change out y and x for v and t. So we just need to figure out which one's which. So v is the value, t is the number of years. So, right, the value will depend on the number of years. Or as the number of years changes, the value changes. So value is going to be my y, and x is going to be t. So all I'm doing is for every y I'm putting a v, and for every x I'm putting a t. So let's see if we can find the appropriate equation to match the ones we wrote. So v equals 23,000 minus 3,000 t. Well, wow, that looks awesome. Let's keep looking. V equals 3,000 t minus 23,000. Well, 23,000 is not supposed to be negative. 3,000 is, so that's wrong. 3,000 t, well, they don't have the 23,000 in there anywhere. We're not multiplying. This says 2,300, so that's definitely wrong. So the equation that represents this relationship is 23,000 minus 3,000 t. All right. Hopefully we're feeling pretty good about that. Let's go ahead to the next example on your paper, number 10. It says the number of hours Lainey practices saxophone each week, P, is 2 more than the number of hours she practices basketball. Which equation represents the hours she practices basketball? So let's see, the number of hours she practices saxophone. So I'm going to write it in words because that'll help. So saxophone each week is, so is means equals 2 more than. So right, that means we're doing more than is adding. So we're adding 2 to whatever the situation is, more than the number of hours it takes to practice basketball. And they're saying that that is B. Okay, and then practice saxophone is a P. So which equation best represents it? Okay, so here we're subtracting 2, but we're saying 2 more than. So I know it can't be that. We didn't say we were multiplying anything, so it can't be that. And then this one has 2 minus B or P plus 2. Let's take a look. The number of hours she practices saxophone is 2 more than the number of hours she practices basketball. So basketball plus 2. Let's think about this. So we either have P equals 2 plus B. Do I see a formula that looks like that? This is P plus 2. That doesn't make sense. Maybe we accidentally crossed out one that was right. Okay, let's look again. Okay. So we're not just multiplying 2 times something, right? We're adding it. Okay. And then P2 minus B, I'm not subtracting B. Okay, so they both have B on the other side of the equation. So that means I need to get this B by itself. How do I do that? How do I get B by itself? Well, I need to get rid of 2. So to get rid of a positive 2, I'm going to do negative 2 or minus 2. So P minus 2 equals B. Do I see that? I do. That one was a tricky one, right? Good job though, guys. All right, let's take a look at the next problem. So the next problem is number 11. It says a storage facility charges $35 as move-in fee plus $75 rent per month. Which of the following equations? Okay, so let's just start out by writing it out. So they charge a $35 move-in fee, right? So everybody's paying $35. So I'm going to go ahead and write $35 to move in plus $75 to rent per month. So per means multiply. So 75 times the number of months, right? So let's look at the situation. It says, which of the following could be used to find C, the cost? So, right, the cost is the move-in plus the rent. So C equals the storage, the cost of renting it for M months. So number of months is M. So let's see, 75M. So C equals 35 plus 75M. Now what if we wanted to write it in Y equals MX plus B form, right? So MX would be here. Even though this is an M, that's representing X in our equation, that it's a variable. So 75M. So Y equals 75M plus 35, right? And it's saying that Y is the same as C. So our answer in this situation was right here. All right, let's move right along to the next. It says Mr. Apple has been given a budget of $2,350 to purchase juice for the entire school year. If he spends $27 per week on juice, which equation represents the amount of his budget, B, remaining after buying juice for W weeks? Okay, so he's given a budget of $2,350. Okay, he's spending money. So are we adding to it or taking it away? Good, taking it away. So it's $27 per week. So per means you multiply. So times, I'm going to put number of weeks. Now it says, so I know I can always write this in Y equals 2,350. Since I'm multiplying this 27 times something, I'm just going to put X just to hold my place. Now it says, which equation represents the amount of budget, B, remaining after juice in weeks? All right, so the number of weeks, right, determines his budget. So I'm going to change this Y to B equals 2,350 minus 27, and instead of X, it's going to be B. Okay, so knowing that, can we change it into Y equals MX plus B form? So we have, this has something that we're multiplying, right? So I'm going to keep my Y equals. So we're doing 27B. Okay, got that. Now I need something here with this 23,000. So is 23,000 positive or negative? Positive, it stood on its own, okay? So plus 2,350. So which option do you see as the best choice? All right, great job. Hopefully you chose B equals 2,350 minus 27X.